Welcome to A Little Birdie Told Me with rollercoaster.ie. On episode 12, the final episode of season 6, I'm talking to life coach and podcaster Laura Farrington. I also wanted to let listeners know that this episode we talk about suicide. Sponsored by Aptamil Follow-On Milk. We believe that every feed is a gift. That's why we've dedicated over 50 years to breast milk research and created Aptamil Follow-On Milk. Aptamil Follow-On Milk, your life, our science. Breastfeeding is best. Follow-on milk should be used as part of a mixed diet from 6 months. Talk to a health professional. So, the season finale, season 6 finale, episode 12, is with Laura Farrington, podcaster and life coach. And I was just saying to you a second ago, Laura, welcome, that lots of people wanted you on.
That's so nice to hear.
Yeah.
That's so nice to hear.
And I'm going to be really creepy and just say it straight out. Your name is kind of fancy. I was like, Jane Austen novel, Laura Farrington. Laura Farrington? Laura. I kept saying your name was really weird when I contacted you.
It's English.
It's a nice name.
And I love my name. And my partner, George, we're engaged. His is Brown.
Right.
Nothing wrong with Brown.
No.
But I prefer Laura Farrington
Yeah,
to
you're
Laura
not
Brown.
changing your name.
No. I think I might have to double barrel it and go Laura Farrington Brown.
Well, then you're going to be in Jane Austen. I just love your name. I was like, and then I couldn't stop saying it. I thought, don't be weird. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. You know, I was coming on, I'm having such mom brain over the last 2 weeks. And I was like, but no better podcast to have mom brain
100%.
on.
You can come here and frazzle it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your audience will understand.
Like a lot of women will have really big chats about career or something that's happened to them and then they go really quiet. And I'm like, she needs to go to the loo. And they're like, I've just forgotten what we were saying.
Yeah,
like,
mid-sentence.
Totally fine.
I don't know what I was talking about, but look,
How
I'm
many
in the right
kids
place.
do you have?
I have 2.
Yeah. What ages?
4 and 2. 2 girls like yourself, Farah
You're in
and
the
Freya.
midst of it.
In the midst of it, you know, it was really hard really hard for like a year. And now I feel like it's much easier. Everyone's sleeping.
Okay.
The girls are in
Is
creche.
2-year-old sleeping well?
Very well.
Wow.
She's nearly 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so she started sleeping at 2.
Great.
And I feel like I've got my life back.
Yeah, because the sleep thing is really bad in the mental health.
It actually triggered mental health issues with me.
Me too.
And I don't know
I was
how.
back in here at work at 1 with Simone and I was like, I'm going mad. I hate my life. I'm having a breakdown. I hate my job. I hate my husband. I went quite mad for a good year and a half. And only now am I coming out of the abyss. I think that is really hard when you get no sleep.
It's next to impossible. I don't know how people, you know, my partner George, he's in the army and he's really good at broken sleep. I'm not. He can do it. He was trained. He's trained. He doesn't get in a bad mood. He gets on with his day. Whereas I get teary.
Is it a hormonal shift with us though? We're also lacking in so many things as we get older. 2 kids, you've given birth. I don't know whether it's also that. I find myself just shattered.
I'm shattered all the time. All the time. But I'm used to the feeling of being shattered.
Yeah.
You know, you just kind of get used to it. I drink loads of coffee.
Charlotte Regan was on a few weeks ago and he goes, I hate these people that go, you'll never know tiredness till you have kids. And then he said, you ever know tiredness? He goes, people have loads of tiredness. They work shift work. They're hard, you know, but it's the numb insomniac. Like it's that awful tiredness when you have a baby. It's a different vibe.
I've never felt anything like it.
Yeah.
And I thought I was hardy, resilient and consistently not sleeping for a whole year or being woken up. Like our second kid, Freya, I don't know what it is about the second kid, but she was just so loud at nighttime. So she would scream in her sleep. And I'd say I cried that year more than I've ever cried my whole life. And I've been through loads of grief. I've been through really hard situations and that one just broke me.
It's really hard though, because you're listening to a child that needs and wants you, but you don't want to go down.
No, and you want to sleep train them or whatever.
Yeah, you're like, everything, it goes against anything. You're just like, I can't let her cry it out. I'm sad for her, but I'm sad for me. You're kind of broken. It's a horrible. I used to get very angry with someone. I go down and go like, what's wrong with you? And like, they're just crying. They're just babies.
Rebecca, I used to punch the air. George, you slagged me up, but I'd be there at 3 a.m, punching the air.
Because the only thing
punching
you
the
can
wall, you know. And when I laugh when I think back, I'm like, oh my God, the rage I had.
Have you seen the new Bridget Jones?
No.
Right, so there's a moment in it and she's got the 2 kids. I'm not going to spoiler it, but like if you haven't seen it, she's the 2 kids and she has a moment where they're screaming for devices and SpongeBob and shouting and banging, and she has the broken moment, right, where we've all lost it. And some people lose it and they shout, or, you know, I had one of those moments with my daughter this morning. I was like, what is wrong with you? And she just walks away and she goes into the bathroom and she's like, and she loses it.
Yeah.
And it was just beautiful because I'm like, I love that she went into the loo to do it, because sometimes I just lose it in the kitchen in front of everyone and everyone just looks at me like I'm mad.
Oh, so do I. I think that's part of parenting. Like, I'm a calm person, but I lose it as well.
Okay,
like
good.
I
Thank
shout.
you for saying that. Yeah, do
I
you
shout. I do sometimes shout. I'm never proud of it, but My parents shouted and it was fine.
Do you go back and do the repair thing? I do a lot of that.
Yeah, I say sorry.
Yeah, I
say
did
I'm
that
sorry
to,
for
I did that
shouting.
to my daughter this morning. I was like, I'm really sorry I lost it, but also you were pushing
Your behaviour was
boundaries.
really hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
I'll say things like that.
Yes.
But, and it does help. Like I don't shout as much, but I do shout and it's fine. I don't really feel guilty about it.
Okay, wow.
I feel guilty after and then I apologise and I'm like, let's move on.
I couldn't leave her from school this morning. I kept thinking about it the whole car journey in. Was I going to sit with her all day because it was going to sit with me all day? Isn't that weird?
You know,
Is that
I
too
get
much?
that. It's the guilt. Like mine,
She
Freya
went
was,
in really sad and I was like,
oh, I hate that.
oh my
I hate
God. And
that.
we just had this round. She goes, I'm okay, Mum. I could see her red eyes going into school. Then I was going into work and I go, I'm going to think about this all day.
The guilt. The guilt. I think we all feel that.
Okay.
I do. I was dropping them in today. I was like, please don't cry on your way in. Look, I'll give you a toy. Like, I just can't handle the tears as they walk in the door.
That's awful.
And I have to walk out and they're clinging. So they were great today. But we've had a couple of weeks of tears going in and it's so hard.
Creche and what, you have primary school and creche?
They're
yeah.
both creche at the
Oh,
moment.
they're both creche. So
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Like, I don't know what I'm going to do now when they're in school because in school their hours are shorter. And I work a full day.
Listen, Sister Sledge, it's not built for us.
No.
The system is not built for us. Like this whole bullshit of like, now they're in school. Yeah, now they're in school and they finish at 12 or 1. What the heck? Whereas if they're in Eccy or creche, you know that you have the flexibility of 3, 4, 5. If you need it, maybe not always need it. I don't get it. It's this like, hallelujah, they're in school. Yeah, now I can't work.
No, I'm a bit worried about school because the
Really
summer.
hard.
What do people do in the
And
summer?
no one talks about the unwritten.
Yeah.
I love the bullshit of like summer holiday. Who the hell goes away for 3 months? Are you a millionaire?
Yeah.
It comes upon you. Easter comes upon me and it scares me because it's 2 weeks. Easter kills me because in the middle of a time where you're like, oh, we had midterm. Summer comes and you just plan. Like you suddenly go, right, they finish end of June. So if July to fail with some camps and stuff, maybe go on a 1 week. Like you start to figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of camps, juggling, pickups. P.S. Just FYI, just to make you really depressed. They don't love some of the camps.
Oh no.
So you're in your head going, Mum of the Year, booking her on freaking ballet gym. And when they don't love it, you're not there when they're miserable at a camp.
That makes me sad.
Cool. Okay, so
Yeah.
there you go.
I'll just deal with it as it comes. I'm not going to think about it now because I'm going to have one in school and then one in creche. So there's going to be that juggle as well. Like we can't really go away for a month. Not that we would anyway with work,
No,
but
it's just a lot.
it's just the juggle.
Yeah, I found the primary school, they hit us like a sledgehammer. We're really excited for her to evolve and get into junior infants. And then we were like, oh my God, the day is so short.
Yeah, because we're getting Farah in at the moment and they go, yeah, so she'll finish at 1:30. I was like, 1:30? Okay.
And what happens?
And she goes in at 9.
And what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's going to collect
And there's
her?
after school, there's basketball. So you start
Yeah.
signing them up for things they don't want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they're in therapy at 30, they'll go, Mom made me do self-defense because she had to work.
But that's going to be their thing, isn't it? Mom was working. I wish
That's
she
life.
wasn't working or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
My mom always
do you get
worked.
that a lot? Oh, your mom worked. Okay, great.
My mom worked and my dad worked. And I remember being in creche and loving it.
Okay, wow. Because my mum was at home with us and was brilliant and forfeited a lot to be at home with us. But I guess I get a lot from my older daughter. I wish you didn't work like some of the mummies. And I really find that the hardest part. And I do a lot of like, I'm going to quit today.
And I remember feeling for a while, I just got used to it that my mom was a stay-at-home mom, but I just knew my mom was happier when she had her bit of work.
Great.
Yeah, and then I got into after school stuff. I played loads of hockey, I had loads
And
of
you're
friends.
sociable and
And it was
active.
not traumatizing at all
Okay.
that my mom worked. It was not. So I always try and think of that
That's
myself.
great.
'Cause I
You
get
weren't
the guilt.
angry with her?
I might have been a little bit, but
Okay.
nothing, I wouldn't say trauma.
Okay. No,
Just
a
a
bit
little
like,
bit.
I
I
wish
wish
you
you
were
were more of a stay-at-home mom. But I think we all have those things. Everyone has something. There's
And then
no.
maybe she was home with you all the time, you would have gotten pissy with her.
I would have. And you know what? Seeing my mom work and doing stuff that she liked to do, that's what's pushed me to work and do things that I like to do.
catalyst for it, yeah.
So, my mom worked jobs that she hated. My whole thing will be that my kids see me doing things that I'm passionate about, that I love. And I'll tell them that. I'm like, Mommy loves her work. You got to find something
Wow,
you
that's
love.
really interesting. So your mum wasn't super happy in her career.
No, and she worked a lot. It made her miserable at points. Now, she switched career and I saw her happiness in doing stuff that she loved. But for my
But
girls...
she was just working hard for the money.
She needed the money, yeah. My parents were divorced. It was quite a broken home. And my mom, a lot of the financial strain was on her. Yeah, so she did a lot. She worked really hard. She had 2 jobs at a time. But the girls, I want them to see me doing stuff I love so that they
Wow,
do
that's a great
stuff
life lesson because
I
there's
love.
loads of people who just do jobs they hate.
I know. I did for a while. But then I was like, what's the point?
Okay.
I had a moment where, my dad passed away about 10 years ago. He took his own life. And that was the moment that I left my job. I left it that day. That was my whole life changed on that day. And that for me was, I don't know how to put it in a way, obviously it was really, really traumatizing. Of course it was. It's still to this day, I get triggers and stuff like that about certain things that happened. He was really mentally unwell, but it was also the trigger to the start of kind of an amazing shift for me. And like my whole thing is looking after your mental health. Like when anyone asks me like, what's your goal in life, goal for my kids, is that they have good mental health, they know how to look after themselves. I know how to look after myself now. And that event triggered all of that. That triggered me to go to India, do yoga, meditation, coaching, change my whole life, you know, do therapy. So as traumatizing as it was, I have to look at the good in what came from it. And I would probably still be in my corporate job today if it hadn't happened. And not that that's a bad thing, but I wasn't happy.
Can you tell us about that day, or do you not want to talk about that? Or
No, I can talk about it. It was, like, I can remember it clearly. I was actually away on a corporate incentive trip. I had done really well that year. I got like salesperson of the year or whatever. And I brought my mom to Malaysia. So it was a big 5-star trip. It was amazing. I was so anxious on the trip. The trip was amazing, but I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't present. I was very in my head, very, very anxious. Came home that day. My flight was delayed. I was supposed to meet my dad that day. And
so hang on, your flight was delayed. You're supposed to meet your dad where? Back home?
We were supposed to go for lunch at 1 o'clock. And I was supposed to go in Dublin. Yeah. So I was supposed to land at 11, lunch at 1. And my flight was delayed. So I got in at 1. And that's when I got a call from my brother. And my brother just said, you know, Dad's passed away. He's taken his own life. And you know, I still feel it saying it to you now. I can kind of manage the tears and stuff a bit better now, but it never is easy to think about it. It's the worst thing that you ever think will happen, because you never think it will happen. No matter how sick someone is. I mean, I can look at it now and go, okay, there was a possibility of it happening, but you don't think someone will ever go there. And it happened. And that day, my life changed. And it literally was that day. Like, I left my job that day, and I remember my manager saying, Laura, take some time. And I was like, nope. You know, everything became clear in that moment. And that was the start of a decade-long journey for me that I'm still on. But obviously, I've come through it. I'm on the other side, much happier, much more content.
Was your anxiety on the trip because you knew something was afoot? No.
So I was quite
because you said numb. You were weird on that trip.
It was insane anxiety.
Nothing to do with your dad, or was there an attachment?
There probably was. Like, when I think about it, I was getting messages and stuff from him. Now, I'd be very used to this. My dad had bipolar disorder and he was schizophrenic. So bipolar, for anyone that doesn't know, is when you get really high highs and quite low lows. And the medication for bipolar disorder, it's called lithium. It numbs you out. So my dad often wouldn't take it because he'd rather feel something than be numb. And that's really, really common for people that have bipolar disorder. He was also schizophrenic, which, Jesus, add another one on. But he often in schizophrenia, you know, you get quite delusional. You imagine things that aren't there. In my dad's case, towards the end, he was hearing voices and things like that. So he had a string of mental health issues that were treated by medication, you know, and I don't think he was on the right medication. I don't think he was doing the right therapies. And it was a different time. I always say that to people. My dad grew up in the 50s in Ireland. What a different time to have a mental health issue. Like, we're only talking about mental health properly in the last 10 to 15 years.
Not even, probably the last 5.
Not even. And even when you think of motherhood, like, we're only getting into it now.
Sorry, we're scratching.
I mean, you're doing great stuff here, talking about it openly.
We're all scratching and then hiding away. It's a shit show.
Yeah, there's a lot of shame about it, isn't there? Like,
did their marriage break down because of this? No. Is that unfair to say?
Well, yeah, it would have been.
So you watched a relationship of your mom and dad, which is a very poignant, a very important, you know, that kind of pairing breakdown for various reasons, but your dad was unwell.
He was unwell. He was well when we were younger. Wow. And this is the confusing thing for people when you talk about mental health, or mental illness rather, because we're talking about mental illness in his case. But he was good when we were kids. Like, I remember him being good. And then I remember we would visit him in hospital, and a mental hospital. So not Vincent's, you know, not for sickness, for mental illness. And I do remember that. And I remember feeling a little bit unnerved as a kid visiting him. but I didn't understand what was
Did you
going
feel
on.
like you'd lost your dada?
My dad and our relationship, for anyone that has a father that has mental illness, it's not your average daughter-dad relationship. It really isn't. Like, there was a pivotal moment when I was 11 or 12. My mom told me they were getting a divorce. And I had to do a lot of work on this, actually. But I was really relieved. Yeah. I remember feeling the relief, like, oh, me, my mom, and my brother are going to be much better and safe. It's safe. Kids feel that. It's a safer environment. It didn't feel safe with my dad in the house, just because of his mental illness. Now, I didn't understand that as a kid. I just knew we'll be good together and we'll take this energy out. And I feel bad saying that sometimes, but it is what it is with the mental illness. And I thought that would just be better for us.
It makes me so sad because I think about the innocence of children, how actually all of this stuff pours into us. I think about it a lot, from my own childhood, from what I give my kids. All of this stuff that we think people are unaware, or the whisperings or the arguments or the sickness, it pours into us.
You feel it.
And the fact that you said, oh, geez, like fucking great. Like, you know, some people are devo when their parents get divorced. Some are like, look, it's better because you guys fight. I remember Sophie Morris being on the podcast and going, look, there was a slight relief because they weren't getting on. But some people are really hurt by it. You knew this is the better.
I knew, you know, in your child's mind, I was like, I remember it was a good day.
Yeah.
And that is so sad to say. And I remember being in therapy and the therapist really had to go, Laura, this can be the most devastating thing in someone's life. Because I had a friend going through it and I felt nothing.
No connection.
No connection. And I was like, why are you so obsessed? You know, get over it. But like, now that I have a functional family, two loving parents, me and George and our 2 kids, God, I could cry thinking of our marriage breaking up or our relationship breaking up, because it's a loving family breaking up. It wasn't the same for me growing up. They're 2 different things. Now I can connect with it more because I have that loving family that I kind of always wanted growing up. But in that case, it was a relief. And, you know, I understand it now. And I understand why it's so devastating for people to go through that. Because when you're ripping apart a great relationship, well, you're ripping the family apart. It's devastating.
So you get told by phone call from your brother, who had been given the news that your dad had taken his own life. Unexpected, but expected. No?
Yeah. I would say it wasn't like a total surprise. Okay. Of course.
But you were to meet him at 1, so.
So there's always been this huge question, like, was I meant to find him? Was it me that was supposed to be there and find him? And I talk about that as well. Yeah. But it's such a hard one. People are very harsh on people that take their own life. They say things like, oh, that's so selfish. There's a lot of that going around. It's so selfish. My dad was a great man and he did his best and he was really suffering and no one could help him. No one could help him properly. He had nowhere to go. There was no men's groups. There was no safe space for him. And he had his own story and his own trauma that no one ever properly listened to. And he died with that. And it got too much for him. And it got too dark. And with my dad, I have nothing but compassion, love, and empathy for him. There's no like anger there or hard feelings. That's beautiful. Yeah, and he was a good man. And he loved his kids.
Were you close to him? Or?
We were, yeah. And he loved his kids. Like, he told us all the time how much he loved us. And he moved even when they divorced, he moved down the road. He really stayed so close to us. So he was great. And
did he leave a note? Did he tell you anything? No.
No.
There was no kind of... Was that hard as a kid? No.
No.
Closure? No.
No. The closure came very quickly, if I'm honest, just because I knew how he was. I knew he was suffering. And there was a relief in me to know that was over for him. Oh, people don't really talk about that much because someone has died. But like, I could feel that relief now going, he's no longer suffering. And like, I love going to psychics and stuff like that. I have a psychic I go to all the time, Des. And, you know, my dad will come through a lot. And my dad is so at peace wherever he is. And that gives me great peace as well. He's a much nicer time wherever he is now than he did on earth in his body. So that gives me relief.
So God, you come back from some corporate trip prize thing. Your dad has taken his own life. On that day you're like, see you later job. What's the aftermath effect on your mum?
My mom and dad had a very tricky relationship. My mom, as a mother, I know now from her perspective, wanted to protect us. And, you know, she always struggled with us being around that and his mental health issues, because it is so confusing. I didn't have a clue what was going on half the time. I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know what to say, how to help. And she was pretty angry for a while. And then we all just got on with it. Like, you know, that old Irish way. But I can still hear my mom in my head just going, okay, let's get on with it now. And it's just this. Now, I did loads of therapy. So did my mom. So we all did tons of therapy. My mom was into that world. It was always normalized in our house. Yeah, so that was nothing was overlooked, if you know what I mean. I went on a therapy journey after that. Went to India, did like yoga, meditation, like we were all healing for a while. And it was it was my first time delving into the world of healing. It was also the first time I'd ever wrapped my head around my dad's mental illness. Yeah. We never talked about it. We just got on with things. And, you know, I remember trying to ask him a couple of times, but he didn't have his head around it either. So I got a chance to sit with someone and really hash that out.
What were the symptoms? Did he take to the bed? Was he angry? Was he just detached? Was he like, what were the main? I don't know whether you've seen that Saoirse Ronan film, the one that was out recently.
No.
And I'm going to be away I can't remember the bloody name, but it's recent. And she goes off to live on an island of Scotland. She's drinking a lot and she removes herself to go and work in the natural. I think, I can't even remember. She's tracking birds, something to get her out of London and drinking away. Okay. And her dad, she used to go back home, and her dad has bipolar and schizophrenia. And he's amazing some days, so happy to have her back, and then he takes the bed and and it's the saddest story to watch on screen. I saw it, I think it's November, so it is out there.
Oh, I'll have to watch that.
Someone will tell me. But it's just interesting hearing your story. It's suddenly I thought of you and Saoirse, and just her sitting as a woman now in her 30s by his bed and trying to help him and stuff, but then remembering when she was 5, 6, 7, 8. Was there he was very dark or not? He really was quite dark, and it wasn't him that was dark. It was his like mental illness that was dark. And it was the lack of understanding we all had about those illnesses while he was alive. Like that, I'm only learning about all this stuff since he passed away. And that was hard too, because I just feel like, you know, if he had someone to talk to, if we were able to understand it a bit better, you know, there was a lot that wasn't done right to help him. And there just wasn't that much help out there. There's so much out there now for people who are suffering. There is conversations happening even online. You can find somewhere a group. He never had any of that. He's very isolated in his illnesses. And God, I do wish it was a different time for him. He was born in a different time. I think he would have had a lot more help. You know, and one thing I talk about a good bit is men's mental health. And there's some amazing men's groups out there. And I was at a book launch last night for Pat Divley talking about, he's great, isn't he? And talking about the shadow and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, my dad was deep. He was emotional. He would have loved all that stuff. But do you have any core memories, good, bad, or indifferent, of with your dad? My dad was great. He would bring me every Sunday. We'd have our time and we'd have our lunch in Sandymount, and we'd go to Cafe Java there and we'd have our chats, and it was the nicest memories I have of him. Oh, yeah, it was consistent, Laura. And I would get emotional talking about it, but he was so supportive, you know. He loved everything I did and loved my brother, and we were his life as best he could, if you get me. Maybe it wasn't what the perfect father would be. There is no perfect. No, there is no perfect. Yeah, he did his best in the illnesses. You know, he really did. And your relationship with your mum? Great relationship with my mom. Best friends. My mom really... She's a strong woman. She's very strong. Extremely strong. She went through a lot and stuff that I don't even know. Jesus Christ. If you think about you raising your little kids, right? Mm-hmm. And me, and even with the things that we go through, and it's not all jazz hands, right? But, you know, we're talkers and we've got some supports and stuff. And you think about our moms and your mum in particular, trying to save her children, protect them, not fall out with him in a sense, protect him, but also just get the fuck away from it.
But also working 2 or 3 jobs.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, that's resilience.
She is strong.
So strong. And when I think about my own situation, I'm like, I've got a supportive partner. His family are very supportive. You know, there's a lot working well. And I'm like, how did she do that?
How did she do it?
I don't know. Now, my mom got sick 2 years after my dad. She got colon cancer. Yeah, diagnosed 2 years after I was looking after her, and then she passed away a year after that. So she's been gone now 5 years. So my story is really, and I'm gonna get teary up now, but it really is one of grief. And, you know, to lose both your parents in what felt like such a short space of time. There was about a 3-year gap between my dad and my mom. My mom I'll get teary on because she was really my best friend. And even though it's been 5 years, like, it feels like yesterday that she passed away. And it's so hard with her because I'm triggered all the time. I'm triggered that she's never met my kids. You know, I'm triggered when I'm having a hard time being a parent, and she would have just sat with me. And, you know, moms are amazing. They are amazing. And my mom was amazing. And, you know,
we're complex. Mums are complex. We're not this thing that people talk about, this, you know, kind of strange out there. Moms, we are so, as women, we are so complex. Like, you think of the things, the darkness she had, the light, how proud she would have been of you. You're obviously very proud of her, because when I said there, unbeknownst, like you said, my mum's my best friend, present tense.
Still.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then you were like, look, I also went through this grief, Rebecca. Like, you can tell you're super proud of her. When I said she's strong, you're like, oh my God, badass, strong. So mums are complex. Like, she went through stuff you'll never know. The fights, then to have colon cancer. You were, I presume, by her side through that.
The whole time, yeah. You know, for anyone going through any kind of sickness with a parent, you know, I stopped my life for that year with her, and I have no regrets. I'm like, thank God I did that. That last year, you know, I put the business to the side, had other people look after it, and I just cared for her. And it was like the most privileged thing I could have ever, like the most amazing thing I could have ever done. Like, I look back and I've no regrets. I like let all the busyness go. I let all the stress go, and the goals that I wanted to achieve, I just let it go. And I was present with her. And like, some of the nicest times I had with my mom, it's going to sound so weird, was that year. And those last 10 weeks in hospital as well. She let a lot go. You get that moment. Hey, you know, you've 10 weeks, the cancer's back. It's all over your brain. She had tumors everywhere. And we had our cry, and my mom's so strong. She went, I cry once, and then I want us to have a nice time. And we did. And I saved all those tears for after. But I never, people have regrets for not being there more. And if you have a sick parent, everything, you'll get the job back. Whatever reason, my story has all been like, everything's always brought me back to be more present, don't miss the moment. Look after your mental health. If something's really stressful for me, I just do not do it. I used to lean into stress a lot. And now I kind of lean away from it a little bit.
What do you mean you leant into it? You were busy, hungry?
Always busy, always hectic. And like, I still am, but I'm doing stuff I love to do that fills my cup. But like that corporate life, like, we're all familiar with it.
Do you miss it?
No.
Not a day.
Not a day.
The money? Not a day.
No. I'm not as money driven as I thought I was.
Poison chalice.
Like, I always thought I wanted to live, I'm from Sandymain, so this is like such a first world problem, right? But I always thought I'd live there.
Yeah.
It's just too expensive. I don't know.
But it's how you're brought up. You're like, I'm going to live where I brought. It's not, you know, you didn't think it was expensive. You just want to live where you lived.
Yeah. And, you know, it wasn't expensive when my parents bought a house there, but and if I had stayed in my corporate job, I absolutely would be living there. 100% I'd be living there. But with that brings stress, with that brings anxiety, with that brings
broken
me not
marriage,
being... Everything. Everything that I don't want in my life. So, you know, we've moved out and we're still in Dublin, but I always call it the country of Kiltiernan.
Beside me and Georgie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
See,
I'm Anna Scary. She's a faker to make her. Like, we're all up there.
Country girls.
I love it up there.
I love it.
Love it.
Absolutely love it. I don't know what my problem was before. I just had this thing where I had to... We all do that.
It's not far from either. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, moved out there, and I do love my life now.
Yeah.
But it's been such a journey, and I feel like I went through a journey quite young. I felt I got a couple of traumas there at a very young age.
What age are you?
I'm 37.
You're a baba. And you've
Well,
had your 2 kids.
I've had my 2 babies.
And
Yeah.
your career is thriving.
Career's going great.
And you're only a baby. You haven't even, because Georgie Crawford and I were talking earlier about turning 40.
Yeah.
And how that is pretty pivotal for women. And I think something in you just goes into overdrive of fuck off everything. Like, something happens to you. It takes a while, but it does start to happen.
So I did that after my mom. It can be an age thing,
yes,
or it can be
a life moment.
A life moment.
Where
Yeah.
just go like, none of this matters.
Yeah.
Tell me about your podcast, but I want to talk to you about how you parent. But tell me about your podcast, because people, when I'm always like, who should I have on? It's just Brill and the crack, and you're brilliant.
Oh yeah,
and I love
thank
your selfie
you.
video. I love how you speak to your community.
Oh, that's so nice. So
yeah,
it's
I love
called,
it. You're just very natural.
Yeah, I just loved it. I went head first in. Again, it was a psychic that told people are going to think I'm mental. I went to a psychic. He told me you should start a podcast, and I was like, that's so random for me to do that. But I just went with it. It stuck in my head, and I went, do you know what, I'm going to do it. And the theme of the podcast is the hero's journey, which is basically overcoming adversity. So the hero's journey is about someone that goes through something hard, overcomes it, but then goes on to do great things in their life. Like whatever it is, start a podcast, find healing, finding balance, or whatever it may be. And we have some great stories on there. Like I had Richie Malloy on, and a guy called David. Richie was a cocaine addict for 20 years, overcame that, and is now doing amazing things. He's doing talks, he helps addicts, and his story is just...
What's the name of the podcast?
The Are You Well podcast.
I just love the name.
Yeah, and it's not Are You Well, it's Are Ya. Yeah.
Are you well?
Yeah.
It's very Irish. Are you well?
They're very Irish, yeah.
I always think grand is also one that we need to lean into. Like, grand, I'm grand. No, you're not. You're on the brink.
You are on the brink of burnout.
Your eyes are like dead.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, having gone through grief, trauma, mental illness, a childhood that was probably peppered with joy and fun and love and really bad sadness and heartache, how do you now parent the 2 Bobos? I'm talking about resilience with Georgie and not... I have a huge thing. It's a thing on my head, and I need to figure it out this year or the next few years, about children being very spoiled nowadays. Sorry, because we are in touch with our mental health. I'm not saying we should be like beating them like the old days, but I'm saying I worry a lot about the conversations constantly about how you're feeling and talking through those moments where they have a break. And I was telling you how I got angry earlier. And I think it's so pivotal because we didn't have them. But I worry a little bit about the entitled kids. So how do you parent?
So I'm probably quite soft.
Okay.
And I worry about that because I don't want my kids to be too soft for the world. Now they're babies at the moment. They're 4 and 2. I was raised in quite a harsh world. My dad had mental health issues. Yeah. My mom was off working 3 jobs. She was very stressed out all the time, and rightly so. So I'd say my parents' style was just do whatever you want, which was the Irish way.
But it was fight or flight for you. You were observing a lot of fight or flight.
Yeah, and I was just left to do my own thing a lot, when I was very, very young. And my kids are going to grow up very, very differently. I kind of mollycoddle them a little bit. I'm always making sure they're okay. Like my eldest daughter is highly sensitive, and I was probably highly sensitive, but that was never nurtured in me.
But what's so wrong with you?
In what way?
So I have to say this to people. I'm like, you are literally one of the most incredible guests I've had actually on this season, because you've actually overcome. And look at you, you're not on the break. Like, I'm more emotional talking to you, and I know it's because you're working through it, but I feel like you are a healed, non-unhinged,
I am.
You're healing, you're calm, you're poised, you're articulate, and you're fab, right? And you have a business, and you're saying to me, this is what the parenting core of it is. I'm soft and I don't want my kids. Yes, you had a harsh world, Laura. That was your reality. Your mum was killing herself to make money, and your dad had his struggles. And yes, you have had the roller coaster. But what's wrong with you? How did you turn out? You're incredible. You're inspiring people. People want to be around you, learn from you. My worry for our children is, and I've had different struggles too, far different. And it's, not as great maybe in loads of ways. Obviously, I haven't lost my parents. But why then do we say to our kids, we had hardships, but I don't want you to be exposed to any of those?
I know. I don't
because
know.
I don't want that to be your life. I want you to be a happy little thing. Where in fact, the fucking world is really hard.
And hardship is good. Anyone that I've ever spoken to.
Or it's going to be harder for our kids to get a job. The climate change thing, the wars, the freaking powers that are in power now, the left, it's only going to get worse. And so I'm really concerned about how, yes, we're leaning into mental health, and thank God, but we're also leaning into sending children into the world that if you and I pass away in the night, where is their core resilience?
I know. And I always had resilience. Like I was sent out to look for jobs, like go on out the door. And I figured everything out myself. And I can just see myself being the parent that like wants to buffer that for them. But that's not good. It's not good.
What did I just put on Instagram earlier? Sorry, this is so off topic, but it's not. And I put it on earlier and some people, so this is what we had. I mean, you're not 40. But don't mess with women in their 40s. We grew up feral. We never drank any water ever, so we were constantly dehydrated. We didn't know what seatbelts were, and there wasn't booster seats. We hung out in dark parks with no mobile phones or money, and our parents never knew where we were. We are now 40, and we've no fucking time for bullshit.
Yeah, that's so true.
But like, we're like, have you got your water bottle for school? Have you snacks?
And not
snacks?
Just any water bottle. It has to be
Stanley.
PBA, Stanley and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I do worry about that. One thing I'll never
just
do.
Fucking knacker drinking at like.
Oh yeah,
I wasn't, but I'm just saying.
I was at 13.
Some of the good stuff and the running around in beaches and the dirt and the madness and your mad cousins introducing you to cider and the way. Is some of all of this not really important?
It is.
What is wrong? We're very clinical with our upbringing, with our parenting, and it really throughout this season and the thread. And you're the final guest. I've tried to eke out a little bit from each woman about how I've noticed the softness and it's beautiful, but fuck,
I know
what's going on.
There's a fear in people. Like there's definitely a fear in me to be this strict parent or just be like, this is what it is. Maybe that will happen as they get older, but I think maybe I overcompensate because of what I went through and wanting them to have this like Disney childhood where everything is kind of perfect.
But what's wrong with you? Nothing's wrong with you.
I know. But I just feel like
I sit beside you and I don't see a broken, damaged person who had a fucked up childhood. I think you're amazing.
And I'm not now. You know, I had my moments and I think we all have our moments. That's something I've learned. Everyone has a story. Everyone has something that they have to overcome. And you either, you sink or swim, you overcome it, or you kind of get wrapped up in it. But I don't know, we have this protective thing about our kids, don't we? We don't want them to feel pain.
It's a snowflake mentality.
It is snowflake.
I worry about it, and I worry about watching my kids' peers together at parties and how they react to things and the sensitivities and the worries. And it's something, like I said to you, I'm working on, and I'm working through what's the best way, because my biggest thing is, and you know that poem, they fuck you up, your mum and dad, they never mean to, but they do.
Yeah.
That beautiful intro. We will fuck them up in various ways, hopefully not as badly generationally as we're all trying to clean up the generations. But what are the best life lessons we can give them? And I think it is overcoming. And, you know, when my child has a breakdown because she didn't get maple syrup on her pancakes, I'm like, horrible. I'm like, get it together.
Pull it together. Yeah.
Get your shit together.
There's probably some things that I am very much like that in, and it's just unconscious. Because like there's some things I wouldn't have much patience for. And I have to put my foot down with them, which I will. Like there's soft parenting and there's soft parenting. I'm probably somewhere in the middle. Not the softest. I have friends that are unbelievably soft, don't say boo to their kids, and that wouldn't be me. But yeah, there's definitely.
What's George like as a dad?
He's good. He's very hands-on. He loves them out in the muck and the mud. Right. And because I get a bit scared, again, I don't know why I'm like this, because I was such a risk taker. I did bungee jumps, skydives, all this stuff. But like, we'll be on their bikes in the park and I'm like, I can't be here. They're going to fall over the side. They're going to fall. George will kind of take them out and let them get mucky and puts on their wetsuits in the rain.
Death, though. Is that not because you've been tarnished by death?
I have a real
right
fear.
In the face.
I have a real fear
and
of
the two
someone
most
dying.
important things in your life. So you lost the two most important things. And your two most important things, you're like, I'm not losing them.
100%. So George will take that burden. And I'll get braver with it as time goes on. But I do worry about, people worry about, oh, what if they get a boo-boo? I worry about them dying. Like that's my worry for everything. Because I know how quickly it can happen. And I know how quickly everything can change. And that's something I have to work on in therapy. You know, she's like, everyone's fine, Laura. No one's going to die. And I don't worry about the little things. It's the big things. Yeah, I worry about the big things. Like if we're walking out the door, like I get bad, especially when I was pregnant, this is common with women, but I got bad intrusive thoughts. And I would just be sitting there in the bed at night going, is someone going to break in? Is someone going to break in and take the kids? You know, all this kind of stuff. Now that has kind of stopped, but it's there niggling in the back of my head.
I don't want to poo-poo postnatal and get on the bandwagon of postnatal depression, but only thinking back recently, speaking to a woman who'd gone through, and I think you were saying you had postnatal depression?
It was never diagnosed, but after Freya, I definitely had something.
Oh, I used to get in the car with Simone and think we were going to be killed in the car. And only now am I like, geez, I was mental. I wouldn't go to the shop. someone will crash into us and she'll die. And she was really tiny, so she wouldn't fit in her seat. So just strap her, like she was 6 pounds, like she was just little. And I had a lot of anxiety, and I realised after this ain't normal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just people coming into the house and taking her, and there was a lot of stuff going down. But I never addressed it. Now, in retrospect, I don't think, obviously it wasn't healthy. You went through, you said, after your first or second?
After my second. So I had 2 kids really close together. I had, they're 18 months apart. So I got pregnant with Freya when Farah was 9 months old. Now, great idea at the time. But in retrospect, it was very little time for my body to heal and me to get my head around even being a mom. And whatever happened after Freya, I couldn't, about 5 months in, I was like, I'm not feeling good. I was really down. Now, she wasn't sleeping, but I was in this mood that I couldn't shake. And I obviously have this comparison of my dad and my mom, right? Them being the hardest things I've ever went through. And I'm like, here I am with 2 beautiful kids. Everything I've ever wanted. 2 girls, always wanted girls. And this should be the happiest time of my life. But I'm in this unshakable depression. I couldn't see the light. And I knew something was wrong because this was feeling worse than after my dad's suicide and after my mom died. And I'm like, this is a happy time. So I knew there was something wrong. Now, I stayed in that for ages. And then when Freya was 1, I went to my GP and she goes, Laura, I was crying in the GP. She was like, this is not like you. Like, she's known me for years. She's like, this is not like you. And she had told me before about medication. And I was so against it because of my dad.
Yeah.
And I think the Irish way is just, I don't know, like no medication ever. And my mom would have been against it as well. But she goes, she said, I went through something similar on my 3rd kid. You know, I did what I'm telling you to do right now. She always says, movement, meditation, medication. And I was doing the movement. I was doing the meditation every single day. It would lift me for about an hour and I'd fall right back into something. So I went on a medication called Lexapro for 6 months. On month 5, I started to feel a bit numb. So I went off it slowly. And let me honestly tell you, it was the best thing I ever did. And I had no side effects. It got me over a hump. And I'm only sad I didn't go on it sooner.
Thank you for saying that, because there's a little shame, and I think not everyone should go on medication, not everyone needs to. It's a completely subjective, objective, personal choice, and I don't think we're advocating for anything. But thank you for saying honestly your experience of it, because a lot of women will come on and say, I don't want to talk about that. And I'm like, oh, why? It's very taboo.
It's very taboo. There's a lot of shame.
And it's like, oh, I have to go on medication. Like, but loads of women I know are like, so thank you for saying that actually it helped. It wasn't your long-term plan.
No.
But that particular thing, you needed your help.
I needed it. And like therapy wasn't helping. And I'd also been like the trauma of my dad's suicide, never thought of medication. You know, I didn't need it. The exercise was helping, the therapy, all that was helping. After my mom, didn't need it. So I was going, there's something hormonally wrong with me here because this is a happy time. Here's my kids. Life is good. I'm past all this. I'm not fully past, but you know, I'm past all this, but I'm feeling awful. So there was something else at play chemically, hormonally, and the medication balanced it out. Again, talk to your GP, but that's just my experience. And I know a lot of women go on it and are ashamed to talk about it, which I understand. Like, I get it, but there's nothing shameful in it. It's there for a reason. And I mean, I think we always think of medication as, and this is what I thought, people abuse it or you're going to get addicted to it. That's why I was like, I'm going to be addicted to this stuff. She was like, no. Like, she had to talk to me for about an hour and a half about this is how it works and da-da-da-da-da. And it was just the best thing I've ever done. Like, I look back now and I went, oh my God, why didn't I do that sooner? I put such a heaviness on it and I just didn't know any better.
If you don't follow her on Instagram, Laura Means Wellness, which is such a brilliant Insta tag. Laura Farrington, people wanted to hear your story. So nice to hear. I wanted to chat to you. I feel like that was pretty hardcore, but you are incredible.
It was hardcore,
incredible.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's really hardcore.
I don't know how to tell my story sometimes and it not be, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it is what
Can't
it
hide
is.
behind that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being our final guest for what has been a pretty insane and gorgeous season 6. I can't believe we're getting into other seasons, but you are special and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sponsored by Aptamil Follow-On Milk. We believe that every feed is a gift. That's why we've dedicated over 50 years to breast milk research and created Aptamil Follow-On Milk. Aptamil Follow-On Milk, your life, our science. Breastfeeding is best. Follow-on milk should be used as part of a mixed diet from 6 months. Talk to a health professional. I hope you enjoyed this episode of A Little Birdie Told Me, and if you did, it would mean a lot to me if you could like, subscribe and share this episode.